Hi all, very good evening. So we are going to start our session. So today we will cover some very useful command in our session. So our very first command is that host name. So host name is basically used to check and configure the host name on a server, right? So if you want to check the host name or we want to configure a new host name on a system, then we use host name command. So if I want to check the host name of my system, then I use host name only. Okay, and it shows the host name of my system. So, like so, if I want to check the IP address, I can use hyphen I argument there. Okay, so hyphen I will show me the IP address of my system. Okay, so to check IP address, we have that IP address command IP IPR if config auto command there to check IP. But with the help of host name also, we can check IP address of the EC2 of a server. Okay, so uh, yeah, so with when I use hyphen I with the hostname command, so it is showing me the IP address of my system. Okay, you can check there that it's showing the IP version 6 and then IP version 4. So IP version 6 is enabled on my system, so that's why it's showing. Otherwise I used to prefer IP version 4 only. Sorry, there is some issue in my throat today. So when I use hyphen I, so it is showing me the IP address of my system, right? So I want to configure a new hostname on my system. So I'm going to that hostname ctl command, set hostname, and I'm using test there, right? So hostname is a command which you to set hostname. Okay, hostname ctl space set hyphen hostname to configure a new hostname and test. This is my new host name. Okay, so I enter there. Okay, so once I that run this command, so in the in my system host name is configured, but in my shell it is still showing new host, which is that old one. Okay, so to update the host name in my the terminal, I have two options. Either I can log off and relog in to the system, either I can update my shell. Okay, so to update the shell, we have we can run bash command there. Okay, when I run the bash, it's update the shell. Okay, for my terminal, and the host name is get updated there, right? So you can check that host name updated. So to check the host name or to configure a new host name, okay, we have the host name command there, right? So apart from this, that we are going to next command, that which is head and tail. So head and tail basically used to read a file. Okay, if we want to read a file, then we use head and tail command. So now you will say that we have cat command to read a file, right? We have cat command on place, but the issue is that when we work in production, so we have all and we want to check log files. Okay, and then log files have that thousands of lines. Okay, but we want to check content from top or from bottom. Okay, that's certain number of lines we want to check. Then cat command can't help in this. Okay, because cat used to read the full file, right? When I want to check the message file, so with the help of cat I can read, right? But if I want to check the top 10 lines, top 15 lines, or 20 lines, or like so, that 10 line from bottom, 15 line, 20 line from bottom, like so. So in this case, cat can't help. Okay, so like you see that when I run the cat, so it's print the full file there, that it print the whole file there. Okay, and in this it's not possible to check top 10 lines or top 20 lines or bottom 10 lines, like so. So okay, so for this we have head and tail command on place. So when I when we run that head command, okay, with that on the same file where log message, so it will print us the top line, the top 10 lines by default. Okay, so if you want to check top 10 lines, then it's better, then it's that good, we can use head and the file name there. Okay, so it will print that by default 10 lines. But if I want to check top 15 lines or top 20 lines, then again question there. Okay, so for this we have had hyphen n. Okay, hyphen n is a number that which we want to read, and line numbers, and then where log message. Okay, so it will print the 15 lines from the top, right? So if you want to print a certain lines, that 15, 20, 9, 5, 4, like so, if I use 5, then it will print the top 5 lines only. Okay, instead of hyphen n, we can mention hyphen and then number only. Okay, so if I mention the hyphen 5, so what now? It will again print the top 5 lines, right? So if I use hyphen n, or I use hyphen and the line number, or I use hyphen line number only, so both are the same thing there, right? Both. So by default it print 10 line from the top. Okay, if we use hyphen n and line number, like I want to print top 2 line only, right? So we have two syntax for this also, right? Hyphen n space line number. Okay, it will print the two lines from the top, or we can mention only line number with the hyphen. Okay, so again it will print two line, you can check, right? So both syntax print the same lines, right? So we have two options there, right? Hyphen n space line number, or hyphen and line number along with hyphen. Okay, so like so, if you want to read file from bottom of the file, then so so with the help of cat, again we have the issue, we have to go through with the complete file. Okay, so for this we have tail command on place. So when we run the tail command, okay, so by default it also print 10 lines from the bottom. So if you want to print a certain number of line, then hyphen n line number, like I want to check that 5 line from the bottom, then I have hyphen n option there. Okay, hyphen n and then line number. Okay, or we can check, we can mention that hyphen and line number only. Okay, so I want to check 7 lines. Okay, so hyphen 7 we can mention with the hyphen and line number there, right? So it will print the 7 line from the bottom, right? So if I use hyphen and space line number, or I use hyphen and line number, so these both command will print the same output. Okay, so we have, so had use to print line from the top of the file. Okay, by default print 10 lines. Okay, right? So if I want to head hyphen n and line number, okay, like I want to print 5 line and then file name, so it will print 5 lines from the top of the file. Again, if we use hyphen 5 and file name, it will also print 5 lines from the top of the file, right? So I believe that your confusion clear there. You have no any doubt. If you have any doubt, you can mention the comment. I will that clear that thing also. Okay. So like so, tail is used to print 10 lines, 10 line by default from the bottom. Okay, of the file. Okay, so if I want to print the 10 number of file, like I want to check only 5 lines from the bottom, then tail hyphen n file name. Okay, 5 lines from the bottom of the file. Okay, so like so, we have one more that syntax there, tail hyphen 5 file name. It will also print 5 lines from the bottom, right? So I believe head and tail both command are clear to you. Okay, if you have any doubt, please mention the comment. I will check and then clear that out in the comment section. Right. So our so we that sometimes we that come in a situation that we want to edit a file. Okay, or we want to replace a particular word in a file. Okay, so if we have that we have that big file. Okay, it's contain thousands of lines, and we want to replace a particular word in the complete file. Then it is a difficult task for a for a Linux admin to open the file. Like I want to replace a suppose I have just for example I'm opening my log file only for example. Okay, in my in my file I want to replace master word with that client. Okay, so that I want to replace master with the client word. Okay, so that if I go that like so, okay, that go to a master and client editor like so, and again go to the next, and then it will take too long to edit the file. Okay, and there is not a surety that by this we can that replace all the master words with the client. Okay, so for this we have a command that is called scd command, right? So scd command is basically used to edit the files. Okay, like we can it's used like a find and replace. Okay, that in windows we have a find and replace in windows system. So like so sed command used to find words and to replace it with a new word. Okay, so we can use sed command to find and replace. So check if so I'm preparing a file that vi month name. Okay, so I am writing a month name there. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, right? May, June. Okay. So I will write some month name there, and you can see that we have some month name there. Okay. So suppose we have I'm copying Jan. Okay, and okay. So Now we have Jan multiple that on a multiple place in the file. Okay. So suppose I want to replace Jan with that some that other month. Okay, like December, November, like so. But I want to replace Feb. Okay. So for example, we are going to replace Feb. So with like Fab is you that very famous for Valentine. Okay, so I'm going to replace Fab with Valentine there. Okay, so like I'm going to so to replace a word hyphen I use. Okay, to that replace any word in the file. Okay, so if I okay, so I'm going to replace Fab with that Valentine. Okay, so sad hyphen I and then then single quote. Okay, S and fab and the word which I need to replace and with that again of slash and then with which that our new word. Okay, it will find fab in the file and replace with Valentine. VLNT. Okay, right, and again slash and then file name. So it will replace the sad command will find the word fab in that file in the mention file and replace it with Valentine, right? So so now our fab should be replaced by Valentine, right? So let's check the output file. Yeah, you can see there that fab is replaced with Valentine. Okay, so suppose I have Jan in the multiple ways in the file. So I want to replace Jan, which is in my fourth line. Okay, so if we want to replace that everywhere in the file, we can check, we can run the command like so. If I want to replace all the Jan now, so Jan, okay, and Jan is okay. I want to replace Jan with the first number first. Okay, so if I want to replace in the co- complete file, I can run the same. This is the syntax. I can run, and the all Jan will be replaced by first. Okay, so in that wherever the Jan is mentioned in the file, the first word that word first will be on place. Okay, so Jan will replace by first. If I run this, so let's see. You can see that Jan is replaced by first, right? So to replace the complete file that replace a word in the file everywhere. Okay, so if I have the word the thousands of place in a file. Okay, so with this we can replace the word in the complete file. Okay, so now I want to replace first with that fourth. Okay, number four, but I want to replace only some certain place. Okay, so if word first is in my fourth line, then only I want to replace it with 4. If the word first is anywhere, okay, suppose I want to replace the word fourth, word first in my file. If in line third I have word first, then it will replace by fourth. So let's see. So in my file, in the line three third, okay, I don't have first, so it didn't make any change in the file. Okay, so if I'm going to find a word in my fourth line, if in my file on fourth line word first is there, then it should be replaced with number 4. Okay, so you can check that 1 2 3 4, my fourth line have word first. Okay, so word first should be replaced by 4, but in any other line it should be the same like first. Okay, so I have the first word is the first in my file. Okay, fourth word is the in the fourth line also I have first word. So like so, if in the line 4 it should it have first word, then it should replace by 4. So let's see. You can see that in the file only in the line number 4 word first is replaced with the 4. Okay, so if I want to replace a word in a particular line, then we use syntax like so. Okay, so let's said hyphen I single quote line number in which we want to find a word, s to find. Okay, as the syntax there, that the word which we want to find, and then slash the new word which you want to replace. Okay, so in this argument we can replace a word in a particular file, that in a particular line number, right? So now suppose we want to replace our first word with the number 1. Okay, so if in a file the word first is mm, in the line number 1, then it should be replaced by 1. Okay, so let's see. So in our file we have word first in the very first line. Okay, you can see that, yeah, you can see that this is the in the file month is a file name. Okay, in the file we have the first in the very first line. Okay, so with the help of this syntax we go to the line 1, find the word first and replace with the 1, right? So like so. So now I'm going to edit this file. Mm, first, yeah, first I'm going to write some. Okay, so suppose we have some that script in a file. Okay, and we want to replace a particular word in a particular line. Okay, which that, so like this. Okay, that if I want to replace a particular word in the complete file, okay, we have the syntax, this one. Okay, we can replace the word, we can replace the word in that with the new. Okay, we can replace the word in the complete file. Okay, so if I want to replace in a particular line, then we have this syntax this. Okay, or suppose we want to replace a word in a file if a line have the another that word. If I want to replace first, if my line have second, if my line have second in the line. Okay, if in a file a word second is placed in a line, then only first should be replaced. If 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 xyz is there in the line, then word should not be placed. Okay, so like so. Okay, so for this we have another syntax, the sed command. Okay, so now to replace this. Okay, let me, so I want to replace a word. Okay, that if my file have word that 3, then only word first should be replaced by number 3. Okay, no matter my file have that fourth, 5, 6, like so. Not file space, sorry. Okay, so if my file have that in my file, if a line have word 3, then word first should be replaced by number 3, right? So for this we use this syntax. Okay, so let's run get month. Okay, uh, first three. Yeah, you can see there that in my file when I if I have word 3, that 3. Okay, then word first should be replaced by number 3, right? So you can check that in the file, in that this the our previous file before edit. Okay, so you can see that first and second, first three, first four, first five, first six, like so. If a word three is there in the file, word three there in the file in any line, then word first should be replaced by number three. This one, okay. You can see that word three is there in the line, and word first is replaced by number three. Okay, so like so, we can edit a file without opening it. Okay, so if we want to replace a word, we want to replace a word in file in a, okay, if line have word word three, okay, or we can say that we can say that replace word first with number three if line have three, if line have word three. Okay, so okay, so like so, so if line one have word first, then it should be replaced by one, right? So if in the first line word first is there, then word first should be replaced by one. Okay, and if we want, sorry, but it's if we want to replace word in file with new word, okay. Replace word in a complete file. Okay, let it to replace it better. Okay, to replace word in file, it will find a word that, okay, it will find a word in the file and will replace it by new word. Okay, so for this we have the syntax this, like so we can that replace our that we can find and replace a word in a file. Okay, so we have multiple ways, okay, to replace a word in a file. So you have to go through the main page of sed command for more info. Okay, you can refer to that. There are a lot of word there, that hyphen e hyphen f, okay, script file, okay, hyphen I to suffix in place, right, which we are using there. Okay, hyphen c to copy instead of rename, like so. So we have a lot of that argument there with that command, so you can use. So thanks guys, so let's meet in that new session very soon. Thank you, bye bye.